If you'd like to roll up the mat underneath your knees to make it a little bit softer, you can, but we'll transition out of it pretty quickly. So no worries. If kneeling is a little bit uncomfortable, won't be here super long today. And we're just going to kind of start nice and easy, but I wanted to get into it a little bit more quickly than usual. And we'll start off with a flow today. We'll start with our yoga and we'll finish out with our Pilates. So from this position, first thing I want to do is just take 2 nice deep breaths, leading with the arms. So as you inhale, bring them out and up. When you get to the top, I want you to take a second, stretch nice and long, away from center, maybe lean back just slightly, and then that exhale brings those arms down and around. One more time, just like that. That inhale brings us out and up. We stretch nice and long away from center, and then that exhale brings us down and around. All right, bringing that one more inhale brings us out and up towards the ceiling. We're gonna find our lateral stretches up next. So from here, take that right hand, bring it down to the mat, bring that left arm up over top, stretching nice and long from those left fingertips all the way down to that left hip. Our next inhale brings us off of that right hand through center, and exhaling over to that left hand, same thing, second side. Nice big stretch, super long from fingertips to hip. Big inhale brings us back to center. We're gonna do that one more time, each direction. Exhale down to that first side. Nice big stretch there. And then one final time, inhale brings us through center, over to that second side. Exhale down there, nice big stretch. Big inhale brings us back to center. Interlace those fingers, and as you exhale, I want you to bring it down in front of the body, press the palms forward, round out the spine toward that back wall, tuck the chin in towards the chest. One more time, we'll inhale to lift the palms towards the ceiling. Exhale to bring the arms down and around. You can either press the palms towards each other behind the back, or you can interlace the hands behind the back. Inhale to open up through the chest, pull the shoulder blades together, nice big stretch. Exhale to release. We'll find that one more time, and then move on from those upper body stretches. Inhale brings us out and up. When you get to the top, interlace those fingers. Exhale to bring them down, press the palms forward, round out the spine, chin towards the chest. One more inhale brings us back up towards the ceiling, big stretch up. Exhale circles it down and around. Interlace and press those palms towards each other behind the back. Inhale to open up through the chest, and then exhale to release. From here, we are going to make our way out into our child's pose. I want you to just take those palms down to the mat. Walk those hands out nice and long. And just take a second here to kind of play around with your child's pose. So if you know that some certain child's pose position feels good, so for example, I know that when I bend my elbows and put my hands on my shoulders, I get an extra chest stretch, or maybe it feels good to walk the hands side to side. Just take a moment to find a child's pose version that feels good here. If right down the center is your version that feels good, that's fine. Or maybe you let the forehead meet the mat, and you wrap the arms around behind the back. Whatever works, we're going to find 2 nice deep breaths here. And then from here, we're going to make our way right into our first down dog of the day. So we're kind of getting into it, but I want you to be gentle with yourself. As you plant those palms, lift the hips and curl the toes under. Don't be afraid to start with those knees bent in our downward facing dog, starting to nice and easy, start to lengthen one leg and then the other. And then if that's a little bit intense, you can always kind of flow forward and backward. You can bring it out towards that plank and then press those hips up and back to get that little bit extra of a hamstring stretch. Like I said, just take time, be gentle with yourself here. We didn't do any lower body warm up before we brought it into this, so just take a minute. Find those stretches, maybe move the hips side to side. Maybe you shake the head yes or no, nice and easy and slow. Good, take one more nice deep breath in whatever version of that you've got going on. And then we are going to find that flow, that little down dog to plank flow. So from this downward facing dog, all we're going to do is as you inhale, we're going to shift the shoulders out over the wrists and bring the hips low. And then I want you to tense through the core. Exhale to press the hips up and back into that downward facing dog. So just a couple of times here, flowing out bringing the shoulders out over the wrists, finding that nice stable plank position, and then exhaling to press those hips up and back, curl those inner elbows in, lengthening through the legs, exhaling or inhaling to float out, and exhaling to float up. A couple more times at your own pace. Give me about 3 more here. And really trying to focus on tensing your core as you press the hips up. So not just using the shoulders, but pulling the belly button in towards the spine as you pull those hips up nice and high. And then we've got one more time here, floating those shoulders out over the wrists, and then pressing those hips up and back, meeting back in that downward dog. We're going to move forward from here. We're bringing it to our crescent lunge through our three-legged dog. Right foot goes up and back. Bend that left knee, sweep that right foot forward, bring it into that lunge position. From here, we're finding a spinal twist. Left hand stays down, right arm opens up. Open up the chest towards that leg. Exhale, brings it back down. Laying those palms. All right, we're bringing it up into that crescent lunge. Inhale, sweeps us up. Nice bend through that right leg. Opening up through the chest. From here, we're going to lengthen that front leg. Right leg opens up. And then we're going to turn that left heel down, open those arms up. We're bringing it to our triangle from here. Hinge forward at those hips, fingertips go out long, and then bring that right hand down towards the mat. The left arm opens up towards the ceiling into that triangle pose. Taking a second here to pause in this position. Think about finding that long spine. Think about activating through the core to keep it long. Maybe you bring the hand to the leg for more support. Maybe you float it right in front for a little less. Next inhale brings us back up tall. And then we're going to just reverse it from here. So kind of an intense reverse warrior 2 with the front leg bent or front leg lengthened, lifting that front palm up and back. And then as we exhale, we're cartwheeling down, bending through that right knee, planting that right hand, then that left hand, bringing that left heel up. We're back in that low crescent lunge. Step the left foot forward to meet the right, forward fold. Inhale brings us to halfway lift, flat back, long spine. Exhale folds us forward. We're bringing it into our chair next. If you bring those feet a little closer together. Next inhale, sits the hips back, sweeps the arms up, opens up through the chest. Hold here for just a moment. Once again, find that long spine. Try and keep those arms by the ears. Next inhale, stands us up tall. Exhale, swan dives us forward to our forward fold. From here, we're going to take that left foot back one more time, but this time we're going to bring it to our low lunge. So starting by planting those toes, then bringing that left knee down, top of the left foot meets the mat. I want you to shift those hips forward into that low lunge, and then shift them back into that hamstring stretch. So hips come back, right toes come up, right leg lengthens, we hinge forward at those hips. Shift it forward one more time, plant those palms. Right foot goes back to meet the left into our downward dog. So lift that back knee, bring it back, we're back to where we started from. Keeping it going with that, we're going to take 3 flows out from that downward dog to that plank. So that inhale brings us out to that plank. That exhale presses those hips up and back. We've got 2 more. Inhale floats us out into that nice plank position. Exhale floats us up and back. One more time, just like that, before we get moving again, over to that plank, and then up and back to that downward facing dog. Here we go, 3-legged dog on the left, foot goes up and back, right knee bends, we sweep that left foot forward, we keep the right hand planted, we open through the left arm into that spinal twist. Exhale, brings that hand back down, we're gonna lift up into our crescent lunge, inhale, sweeps those arms up. Nice bend through that left knee. From here, we're gonna lengthen that front leg. We're going to turn that right heel down as we open those arms. Here we go into our triangle. Hinge forward at the hips, press those fingertips out, and then left fingertips come down, right fingertips go up. Once again, take a moment to pause here. Think about having a long spine, strong core. Again, you can use the leg for support if you need it, or for a little more challenging of this pose, keeping that hand floating off the leg. Next inhale brings us back up to tall. We're going to reverse it with that long front leg. Once again, intense reverse peaceful warrior. Lift it up and back. And then we're going to exhale the cartwheel all the way down. So bend that left knee, bring those hands down, bring that right heel up. Right foot forward to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold this forward, getting ready for our chair. Next inhale, sweeps the arms up, sits the hips back. Taking a moment to pause in this chair pose, think about those legs, think about that spine. Next inhale stands us up tall, and we exhale to fold it forward. We're stepping that right foot back once again, this time into our low lunge. So right foot goes back, right knee comes down, top of the foot meets the mat. Shift those hips forward with our exhale into that low lunge, and then shift them backwards into that hamstring stretch. Lifting those left toes off, hinging forward the hips, lengthening through that left leg. Next time we shift it forward, go ahead and plant those hands. Curl that right toe under, lift the knee, left foot goes back to meet the right downward facing dog. All right, let's just keep it going here. We're gonna take it down to 2 of those flows out over those shoulders. Inhale, floats us out to high plank. Exhale, brings us up and back, downward facing dog. One more time, just like that. Inhale, brings us out to plank. Exhale, floats us up and back, downward facing dog. Right foot, 3-legged dog. Bend through that left knee, sweep that right foot forward into our lunge. Final twist when you get there. Next inhale keeps the left hand planted, opens through the right. Exhale brings us down. We're moving to that crescent lunge next. Strengthen your core. Inhale to sweep the arms up, bend through that right knee. All right, lengthen that front leg, turn that left heel down, open those arms up, moving to our triangle. Hinge forward at the hips, bring those right fingertips down towards the mat. Left arm comes up, use that core for that strength and stability. Next inhale brings us back up to tall. Intense, peaceful warrior, flip the front palm, lift it up and back. Our exhale cartwheels us all the way down, bend through that right knee, bring those hands down, bring that left heel up. We step the left foot forward to meet the right, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Chair pose next. Inhale to sweep the arms up, sit the hips back. Taking that pause there, lengthen through the spine, try and lift the chest a little more. Next inhale stands us up tall, and our exhale folds us forward. Left foot steps back once again. We've got that low lunge, so when you get back there, nice and easy, set that knee down, top of the foot meets the mat. Exhale to shift it forward. Inhale shifts us backwards, lengthen that front leg. Exhale shifts us back forward. Plant those hands, curl that left toe under, lift the knee, right foot goes back to meet the left, downward facing dog. Twice out and back here, we inhale to shift the shoulders out over the wrists. We exhale to bring it up and back, strengthen through that core. Same thing one more time. We inhale to shift those shoulders out over those wrists. And we exhale to shift it up and back. 3-legged dog on that left side. Inhale brings us up and back. Bend through that right knee, sweep that left foot forward. Final twist when you get there. Right hand stays down, left arm opens up. Exhale brings us back down. Preparing for that crescent lunge. Our inhale stabilizes and sweeps those arms up. Find that one at the top. Lengthen that front leg. We turn that right heel down. We open those arms. Get prepared for our triangle. Shift those hips backwards and those fingertips forwards. We bring those fingertips down towards the mat. Open up through the chest. Trying to press your back against that wall. We're nice and long and tall. Next inhale brings us back up. We're reversing it for that intense. Flip the front palm. Lift it up and back. Our next exhale cartwheels us all the way down to the mat. Bend that left knee. Bring that right heel up. Right foot's going to go forward to meet the left into our forward fold. Step it up. Inhale brings us to our halfway lift. Flat back, long spine. Exhale folds us forward. We've got our chair pose next. Our inhale sweeps those arms up, sits those hips back. A little pause here. And then our next inhale stands us up tall. Exhale, fold us forward. Right foot steps back. We set that knee down. We find that low lunge. Shift the hips forward with our exhale. With our inhale, we shift them backwards. Lengthen through that front leg. Find that nice big stretch. Exhale shifts us forward once again. Lengthen those hands. Curl that right toe under. Lift the knee. Left foot goes back to meet the right down facing dog. Now I'm going to give you an option to intensify this first move that we've got going on here. So we're still going to do it twice. This time, instead of just finding a flow out and back, as we shift the hips back into our downward dog, I'm going to lift that opposite hand, thread it under to the outside of that opposite leg, and then as you come back out, set it down. So we're going to do it twice. I invite you to do once on each side, starting in that downward facing dog. We're going to inhale to shift those hips down and those shoulders out over those wrists. As you exhale and shift back, lifting one hand, bringing it to the outside of that opposite leg underneath. And then as we exhale or inhale, shifting it back out, plant that hand. Same thing on the other side. Shifting it back, bringing that hand to the outside. And then we're gonna actually shift over one more time. So bringing that hand down back into our plank. And then nice and stable, we'll bring it into our downward facing dog to start our little flow with that three-legged dog. Right foot goes up and back, bend through that left knee. Sweep that right foot forward. Plant it, spinal twist. Open up through the right arm. Exhale brings us back down. Getting ready for that crescent lunge. Our inhale sweeps us up, strengthens through the core. We lengthen that front leg, we bring that left heel down, we open those arms, triangle pose. We hinge forward at the hips, bring those fingertips long, cartwheel them down, right fingertips towards the mat, left arm comes up. Next inhale stands us up nice and tall. We're gonna reverse it, flip the front palm, lift it up and back. Exhale, cartwheels us all the way down, bend through that right knee, bring that left heel up. Step the left forward to meet the right. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold it forward. Chair pose next. Our inhale sweeps the arms up, sweeps the hips back. We inhale to stand it up tall. We exhale to swan dive it forward, forward fold. All right, step that left foot back. Bring that knee down, nice and soft. Exhale to shift those hips forward. Nice big stretch there. Inhale to shift us back. Stretch through that hamstring. Bringing it back forward, planting those hands. Curl the left toes under, lift the knee, right foot goes back to meet the left downward facing dog. Same thing here, option to lift those hands as we flow. We'll do that 2 to 3 times here. So exhale or inhale, shift those shoulders out over those wrists. Lifting that opposite hand if you can as you exhale, shift the hips up. Inhale, shifts us back out, lowers that hand. Other side, switch it up. Lifts up and back. Shift out, plant that hand, and then right through center here, we're bringing it to our downward facing dog. Three-legged dog with that left foot, bringing us up and back. Bend through that right knee, sweep that left foot forward. Spinal twist when you get there. That right hand stays down, that left arm opens up. Exhaling to bring it back down. We've got our crescent lunge. Our inhale sweeps those arms up, strengthens through that core. We're lengthening that front leg. We're curling that left heel down, or that right heel down. We're opening those arms. Triangle pose here. Hinge forward at the hips. Bring that left hand down. Bring that right arm up. Bring it back up tall. We're reversing it. Flip the front palm. Lift it up and back with that long leg. Intense front side stretch. Exhale, cartwheels us down. Bends that left knee. Brings that right heel up. Right foot goes forward to meet the left. Forward fold. Inhale brings us to our halfway lift, flat back, long spine. Exhale folds us forward. We've got our chair next. When you're ready, that next inhale sweeps those arms up, sits those hips back. Next inhale stands it up tall. And exhale swan dives us forward to our forward fold. Last time here, we're gonna step that right foot back. We're gonna lower that right knee. We're gonna let the top of that right foot meet the mat. We exhale to shift forward into that hip flexor stretch. We inhale to shift backwards into that hamstring stretch. Lengthen that front leg, hinge forward at the hips. Bringing it forward one more time, planting those hands. Curl that right toe under, lift the knee. Left foot goes back to meet the right, downward facing dog. We're gonna take a really brief break and then we're gonna move it to our core work for today. So you can take your break with a low chaturanga flow. You can take your break in a child's pose. You can take your break in a downward facing dog. I invite you to choose whatever intensity you'd like. If you want to keep your heart rate up, you can keep it moving with that high to low, up to down, or you can take it nice and easy, bring it back into that child's pose. We'll spend about 7 to 10 breaths, wherever is most comfortable for you. Taking about 30 or 40 seconds here, nice and easy. While we're in whatever option you're in, I want you to take a couple of moments to just focus in on your breathing. Focus in on where you're at today. Maybe you take a moment to grab a drink if you need it. All right, take about 2 more deep breaths here. So if you chose that flow or you chose that down dog, maybe you take these last 2 as a little bit more of a relaxed recovery. And then when you finish those 2 breaths, we are going to meet back in that down dog to get us going for our plank set of core work here. And then we'll move to our core front on our back to finish out today. So lifting the hips, curling the toes under, pressing the hips up and back just to get set here and ready to go. Okay, so we are going to start off our little plank series with just a nice, easy, and slow mountain climber. So I want you to bring it out to that plank, shift the shoulders over the wrists, bring the hips low. From here, just nice and slow and controlled, I want you to lift the right knee, bring it in between those elbows, step it back, keep those hips low, and then bring that left leg in. So nice and controlled as we get started. You'll have the option to take it up a notch in a couple of moments if you'd like to. But for here, I want you to focus on what it feels like to tighten that core as you pull that knee in towards those elbows. Nice. All right, so you can stay right here if you want, or here's your option to take it up a little faster. If you want to step it in a little faster or jog it in a little bit faster, we'll have about 15 seconds from right here. Keeping breathing, keeping the shoulders over the wrists. Again, if you want to still take it nice and slow, still take it nice and slow. We've got about 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here, we're going to lower all the way down to our belly. We're going to hit a little bit of back work. So I want you to bring it down to the mat. Take those fingertips out long. We're going to find some Supermans with arm circles. So we're going to lift up. You can leave the feet down, or you can lift them up for more intensity. We're keeping the arms long. We're circling them all the way around to face the back wall, all the way back around to face the front wall, and then we're lowering down. So lots of back work here. It's a lift. Again, you can keep those feet down. Circle around, circle back out, and lower back down. Give me a couple more of these here. Getting that core work for the back. Don't forget to breathe. If this finds any pain on your low back, so not a good pain, but a bad pain, I invite you to bring it to that X lift, that opposite arm, opposite leg work, to decrease the tension. But we've got about 3 more here of these Supermans with arm circles. All right, from wherever you are, I want you to give me 1 more here. So 1 more time all the way through. And then I want you to press it back just briefly into that child's pose to prepare to bring us into that next little bit of work. So those hips come back, nice big shoulder and chest stretch. And then we're going to shift it back into that down dog. Curl those toes under, lift the hips, play the hands, hips go up and back. All right, so go ahead and shift it back out into that plank position. From here, we're going to hit those glutes. So I want you to bring it into a glute extension. Toes stay pointing down. As we're in this plank position, we just lift that one leg up, bring it back down and plant it, and then to that other leg. Now, if the wrists are bothering you, you can bring it down to those elbows for this one. As we lift it up and back, squeeze through the glutes, and bring it back down. So a little bit of core work, a little bit of glute work, keeping those toes pointing down. You've got kind of a small range of motion, that's okay. We're here for another 10 seconds. Stick with me, keep breathing. For 4, 3, 2, same thing here. We're gonna lower it all the way down to that mat. We've got 1 more back exercise, 1 more plank exercise, and then we will switch it to that core front to finish us out. So our back exercise, we're gonna keep those hands in right by our chest as if we were gonna go into that push-up. We're gonna do our swan. So from here, lift those hands about 1 inch off of that mat so we can't use them. Bring the neck to neutral. We're gonna lift the upper body, keep the feet down. So this is a really active lift. I want you to pull the elbows towards each other, shoulder blades come towards each other, and then press those hands into the floor. Exhale to lift up into that stretch. We're bringing it back down. We're keeping it moving with this. Lift the hands off the mat. We're lifting up. We're pulling the elbows towards each other. Shoulder blades come together. Active lift, and then place those hands on the floor. Lift it up into that little cobra stretch. and then bring it back down. We've got 3 more of these here. Lift those palms, lift the chest, pull the shoulder blades together, plant the hands, press the chest up. Bring it back down, 2 more just like that. Lift those palms, lift it up. Plant those hands, press it up. And bring it on down. Last one, same thing. Lift those palms, lift it up, pull the shoulder blades together. And nice big stretch here. Plant the palms, press it up into that cobra. From here, we're going to turn it right over into that down dog to bring us to ready for our last plank exercise. So turn those toes over, press those hips up and back. Now for our last plank exercise, we are going to do this one from our elbows. So I invite you to bring it down to the elbows here and then shift it out into that plank. We're going to do our side to side hip dips in our plank position from the elbows. So from here, we're nice and stable. We're turning it to one side, trying to tap that right hip to the floor, bringing it through center, and then over to that other side. Now you don't actually have to hit the floor, so maybe you just bring it a little bit to one side through center and a little bit to the other side. That's totally fine. If you do hit the floor, that's also great. Just try not to rest down there when you tap the floor. We've got just about 10 seconds left of this. I know this one's tough. Stick with me. You guys got it. So strong. Stay with it. Stay with it. For another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and take a rest. Maybe press back to child's pose. Maybe just kind of flatten out. Whatever feels good for you. We are going to turn it over and bring it to our back for our final set of core work. In just a moment, take a second to recover. Whew, that was tough. Nice work, you guys. All right, from here, I invite you to start to make that transition over onto your back. So, however that means for you, you can kind of roll it up and over. You can turn it to your side and bring it down onto your back. And we'll bring it down, bend those knees, plant those feet. All righty, finishing out with a little bit of core front work here. We're just going to start with a crunch, hand on my hand, crunch. So you can keep those knees back and those feet planted. For more challenge, you can lift them up to that tabletop. Place those fingertips behind the ears, lifting the head and shoulders up. We're going to do a 2 count hold and then bring it down. So it's up into that crunch as high as you can get it, hold, and then down. Couple of these here, we're just getting that core front, that upper core front kind of working here. Getting it going with that little hold. Since we're already super warmed up, we're going to move right into it. We're going to go into leg lowers, take those toes up towards the ceiling. Hands can go out wide for less support or under the hips for more support. Bringing those feet down through our range of motion and then back up. If you need to bend those knees, you absolutely can. Again, just working on that lower core front, keeping it moving here. Got just a few minutes of work left before we stretch it out at the end. Keep breathing. Give me 2 more leg lowers. When you're done with those 2 leg lowers, pull the knees into the chest. We're going to move right on when we get done with this one. So taking that tiny little break. All right, we're going to move into our Pilates crisscross, or our commonly known bicycle. So taking those knees back to that 90 degrees, placing those fingertips back behind those ears. So this one's a slow and controlled alternating, bending that right knee and that left elbow comes up as that left leg lengthens. Side to side, nice and easy and controlled. I don't want this to be like you're running, like you're actually bicycling, but I want it to be super controlled, trying to lift that opposite side shoulder off of the floor towards that opposite knee. Another 10 seconds here. Stick with me. You got it. You got it. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. I want you to take those toes back up towards the ceiling. Whew. All right. I know this is tough. Stick with me. You guys are so strong. You guys got it. All right. From here, it's going to be an opposite side reach and a scissor kick. So my left fingertips are going up towards my right toes as my left foot goes down. So same concept as our bicycle, but we've just got that long leg and that long arm. And then we're just going to alternate here. So those legs scissor as those arms come to either direction. Three, two, bend those knees and plant those feet. Four, three, two, and one. Go ahead and lower those hips down. Taking a tiny break. We're gonna combine the previous two exercises before that. So we've got our bicycle or our crisscross, and then that long leg alternating. So we're gonna do one each side of each. It'll look a little like this. We'll start right here. We've got that 1 and 2 in our bicycle, and then we're gonna keep this right leg long. We've got that 1 and that 2 in that long leg, and then we'll bring it back to that bicycle. 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's alternating. Kind of a little bit of coordination and thought going into it at the end of our workout, as well as that core strength to get us going. Here we go. Go ahead and bring those knees up to that 90 degrees. Bring those fingertips behind the head. We're starting with our bicycle. We've got 1 on each side. So we've got that 1 and that 2, and then we've got those long legs. 1, 2. And you can go a little faster with this one if you want to. So it's a 1, 2, long leg, 1, 2. Keep it going here. Keep breathing. Nice work, you guys. We are almost done. We've only got one more exercise after this. 10 more seconds in this. Keep moving. You got it. You got it. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Take a little break. Maybe you pull the knees in towards the chest. Maybe you bend the knees, plant the feet. Let the knees windshield wiper a little bit. Like I said, we've got just one more exercise after this. And then we are going to cool it down. Stretch it out a little bit. You guys are doing awesome. All right. So I just want you to listen for just a second while you're taking that recovery. Our last exercise is going to be our roll-ups. I want to give you the options. Knees bent, feet planted is going to be a little bit easier. If you want to take it up a notch, you've got those long legs, a little less support there. We're going to inhale, arms come overhead. Now, an easier option is to be using that momentum to sweep us up to that long spine. Really using your core to roll yourself up to tall. Now to take this up an extra notch, if you already feel good with those long legs without using much momentum, when you get to the top, lifting to that boat pose and then bringing it all down all at once. So it'll still be just a regular roll up to the top. And then one, and then we're down. Now that's only if you really want to challenge yourself. If you don't feel quite up to that, I want to just keep it to that basic roll up of work here. Our inhale brings those arms overhead as we exhale. We sweep around, we roll it up to tall. Inhale to top, long spine in that boat pose. We exhale to roll it on down to the floor again. Keeping moving with that. Choose that difficulty that works for you. Moving with your breath. The inhales find our long spines. The exhales move us up or down onto that floor. So this one's kind of a self-paced. If you feel like you're moving a little bit faster or slower than me, that's totally fine. Use however much momentum you need to get up off of the floor. Choose that difficulty that works best for you. This is our final exercise. So I want you guys to give it what you've got to finish us out here. Nice. We've got about another 10 seconds of work. Stick with me. Awesome. Give me at least one more. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job, you guys. Go ahead, pull those knees into the chest. Take just a second. All right, go ahead, knees, hands and feet. From here, we're going to find a spinal twist. Take those arms out into a T. Let both knees fall to that right side. Bring it through center, same thing, other direction. All right, bring them back to center. We're just going to intensify this. So from that knees back, feet planted, we're going to lift that left leg. We're going to cross the ankle over that right knee. Both knees come down to that right side and look over that left shoulder. So just a little bit more intense version of that spinal twist. Bring it through center, same thing on that other side. Bring it back to center. When you get back to center, we're going to roll it up to comfortable seated position. So bring it on up when you're ready. Finding our comfortable seated position. We're just going to find those upper body stretches that we started with just one time through. So when you get there, find that inhale to bring those arms out and up. When you reach the top, interlace those fingers. When you exhale, press the palms forward, tuck the chin in towards the chest. Our next inhale lifts those palms back up towards the ceiling, stretches nice and long. Exhale, circles them down and around. We interlace or we press them together behind the back. Inhale to open up through the chest. Exhale, releases. We're going to finish off with one more nice deep breath here, bringing that inhale out and up. Those palms meet right up overhead. We exhale to pull them down to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your Wednesday with me. The light in me honors, the light in you, bowing as we say namaste. Ooh, all right. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.